Hey you guys, this is Casey. I am the academic advisor for the Honors Academy, and I want to show you how to complete what we call here at SAC your ISP. This stands for Individualized Success Plan, and so this is something every first-time in college student has to complete. This is needing to be done before we can register you for spring classes. Registration begins in November, and so we want to have this whole process taken care of by October 15th for you guys who are in the Honors Academy. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to build this plan, and so I'm going to ask that you have 3 screens pulled up. Go ahead and go to alamo.edu, and you're going to hit the SAC tab. For one of them, you can just go ahead and log into your ACES. And of course, when you log in, your screen looks like this. The next thing you'll need to have, if you'll go to alamo.edu again, hit the SAC tab, and then hover your mouse on academics, and you're going to click on degrees and certificates. And when you do that, it'll look like this. And we can go ahead and click on the alphabetical listing. Okay, on your third screen, go ahead and again go to alamo.edu, hit the SAC tab, and this time you're going to hover on current students and you're going to hit transfer and career center. When you do that, it will take you to this page. You will hit transfer and then transfer plans, and then you will be back at the transfer plan page. Okay, so let's close out of that. Okay, so back to your back to your ACES page. And so again, the goal of this, of doing an ISP, is to have a roadmap for your time here at SAC. So whether that's 2 years or 3 years, whether you're only here a couple of semesters, we want you to go ahead and fill this out as if you were going to be completing the associate's degree here. So the tool that we're going to use is GPS. So my screen, as I'm recording, has this little reporter screen here. Go ahead and ignore that. I have it pulled up to cover the banner ID of the student that I'm going to be using for this. But go ahead and click on GPS, and your screen should pull up to look something like this. Actually, you guys are going to see just the left side will be blown up. And then in the upper left-hand corner, for you, you'll see a little button that says Planner. Go ahead and click the Planner button, and again, my Ripcorder screen is covering the button. And the point was to also cover a banner ID. So go ahead and do that. And once you click on Planner, then your screen will look the way that mine does. And so you can, on the left side, scroll down. You'll see a graduation checklist of all of the classes that you need to complete. And then you'll scroll further, and it basically expands the checklist. So now it tells you specifically which classes you need to complete each of these sections. Now you'll see math core, science core, so on and so forth, and each of those has a number. That number is important because when we begin to look at transfer plans, we'll want to make sure that we're taking classes that fall within that specific core. Okay, and so to complete your ISP, you're going to need to know a couple things. You'll need to know your major, and you'll need to know which institution you're transferring to if it's your goal to transfer and get a bachelor's degree. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the transfer plan as a guide to completing your ISP. Now for you guys, this is blank, this description, and then of course you don't have anything here. So let's go ahead and start off and give your plan a name. We labeled this fall 2016 two-year plan for this particular student, and um, you guys, I've seen people name it so-and-so's genius plan, a two-year plan, SAC plan, whatever you want to name it, that's fine. And then you're going to leave the catalog year alone. This merely marks the semester that you came in, which we'll use every semester as we plan your classes. And then here, you'll scroll down and you'll see a list of semesters. Go ahead and push the spring 2017 semester, and then next go ahead and do summer of 2017, fall of 2017, we'll do spring of 2018, and then you'll also do summer of 2018. Now, you may not plan on doing summer classes, and that's fine. And you may need additional semesters if you are an engineering major or a major that's going to require many more semesters. So for now, go ahead and plug those in. And we're not going to do a complete example. I'm going to plot out a couple of semesters here for you guys to show you how to do it. And then, again, your homework will be to go ahead and go in, identify your transfer institution, and you'll pick up that transfer plan. And again, you'll need the SAC plan also pulled up, and then your GPS. So for the purpose of this example, we're going to go ahead. This student is a liberal arts major, but we're going to use the example of being an engineering major. So let's go to the SAC degrees again, and we had clicked alphabetical, and we're going to scroll until we see engineering, and we'll click on that one. Okay. And we will also say that we're going to transfer to UTSA since 80 to 90% of you guys will be transferring here. We'll use this as an example. And we'll hit transfer degree plans. And now again, we're going to scroll until we see engineering. And here's the College of Engineering. And for the purpose again of the example, we'll go ahead and do mechanical engineering. Okay. So now that we have this pulled up, we can see that on the left side, we see that numbering system again that I had mentioned earlier. So this, again, just tells you the core number. And the core is a system across the state to where if you take each of these classes and the number of classes that they designate, and you complete it all, you are called core complete. And you can transfer to any public institution in the state of Texas, and they cannot make you retake any classes because you have completed the core. So it's really important that even if you don't get a degree from SAC, that you at least aim to be core complete, because that has a higher guarantee of your classes transferring. So what we're also going to notice about the UTSA transfer plan is that there are classes that are bolded and underlined. Those classes, it says any courses underlined here are required or recommended for this major. Those are the classes that UTSA wants you to have out of that core section. So for SAC, let's go ahead and compare here, going back to that SAC plan. They also have 2413 listed for engineering. So you'll see and you'll notice that SAC tries to have it as much lined up with a transfer plan as they can so that students are not wasting their time and money. And the point of having the SAC plan pulled up is because if UTSA tells you they want 2413, you can go to the SAC plan and it's clickable and you can see what prerequisites are. So for this Calculus 1 class, you'll need a prereq of Math 2412. Well, what is Math 2412? Let's click on it. Math 2412 is pre-cal, and it also has a prerequisite. So let's click there, and 1414 is college algebra with a pre-cal track. So what we've learned is that in order to get this 3 hours in Cal 1, we're going to need Math 1414, college algebra, Math 2412, which is pre-cal, and then Math 2413, which is that cal. So if you want to spend some time kind of clicking through some of the classes just to know what the prerequisites are, I advise you to do that. And if we scroll down to university physics, we realize that we can't take physics until we've done Cal 1. So that's 3 or 4 semesters down the line depending on where you're at in math. So if you're in a developmental math class, you know that you're going to have several semesters before you can even get into university physics. So we need to kind of think about that as we're plotting classes onto the ISP. And so again, if I didn't specify that earlier, this right column is where you're going to be completing that ISP, that individual success plan, and plotting out semesters so that way you know every semester what you're going to be taking, you're not confused. And of course, if you have any questions during this process, this is when you're going to want to email me. And my email is ctamez8@alamo.edu. Okay, so back to this. Where we're going to start off, most of you guys are going to probably be in English 1301. You may also be starting in History 1301. You'll be in an EDUC class or some sort of student development, and then a 4th class of your choosing. So to continue with that, we've already put down for the student that she's going to go into English 1302, which, again, if you are an engineering major, you'd also need 2 semesters of English. Basically, the core is going to be similar for most majors. It's only going to be different if you were doing a certificate or if you were doing some other, maybe an Associate of Applied Science degree plan, then your degree plan is going to look very different than this, and it'll have you it'll tell you by semester which classes you need. So that actually makes it simpler for you guys. But for those of you who are transferring, you're going to have this core, this general education listed first, and then you're going to have your elective courses, which are a list of classes that can transfer depending on where you transfer. And you'll want to, second page, if you're going to UTSA, here of a list of classes that apply to the major. So they're telling you, take the core, this 45 hours, and then these classes down here that are listed will transfer to UTSA, and it tells you the number of the class in the UTSA degree plan. So, so again, let's go back. And what we'll want to do is, for most of these classes, you can click on them and drag them and drop them into your first semester here. Now, if it does something like this, which it's been doing for some students, go ahead and manually click in the box and delete that. What you'll want to make sure is just when you drag and drop that it gives you the first 4 letters of the class number, and then it tells you the number of hours here. Now, let's say you're in a developmental math class and you need to take Math 0320 before you can get into that Math 1414, then you're going to go ahead and manually type Math 0320, and when you tab over, you'll want to make sure you put in the number of hours, which in this case will be 3 for this class, and you can know the number of hours by the second digit in the class number. The first digit stands for what level it is, so 1 being freshman and 2 being sophomore. Okay, the other 2 numbers just will tell you which class it is. So we're going to take this off for this student, but and as well, since they already have English listed. So for this student, she decided to do English 1302. She's going to get her art credit out of the way. And so you'll see that you do need 3 hours in art. And then she's going to continue her history, which she was in 1301 right here. So she would have just dragged and dropped this 1302 right in there. Okay. Again, if being that we're doing the example of an engineering major, let's say the student did not have math. So their first semester, we would put in math 1414 and put in 4 hours, and then it automatically calculates it. Notice that she does have in her notes English 1302 is honors. Please designate which class you're going to be taking as an honors class in the notes section. For honors students, you guys are required at a minimum to do 1 honors class per semester. So again, please make sure that you guys do that. So we're going to go on to now the second semester. And again, we're pretending she's an engineering major, so her next math class would be Math 2412, which she may decide, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this during the summer to minimize the amount of semesters that I'm having to take math. And then that would allow her to go into Math 24 for following this, 13 for her fall semester. And let's tab over and add 4 hours. And I would just tell you, since you know that you can't do Physics 2425 until Cal 1 is over, to go ahead and type in Physics 2425, and that is a 4-hour class since the second number here is 4. So we have those plotted out, and at least know that she would at least be here. Autocorrect. Up through summer of 2018. So we're going to go back up and consult this degree plan. So now we have the maths plotted out. We have all of the sciences plotted out. We're going to go back in and add a 3-hour course from language, philosophy, and culture. Keep in mind that out of this section, the one that counts as an honors course is philosophy 2306. So unless you're wanting to CLEP out of Spanish, or you're wanting to go ahead and take a foreign language, you'll want to default to philosophy 2306, again, because it is an honors class. So we could add that either in summer, or we could go ahead and add that in fall. And we will do fall. And then we're going to keep going down. We've already completed both histories, since we had both histories plotted out, and she had art already listed. So for the rest of these, there's nothing else bolded, and it really doesn't matter what order you do the classes in. Even the histories don't need to be taken in order. The governments don't need to be taken in order, since one is state, Texas government, and one is federal. From this section, I will say that your social and behavioral sciences, the honors classes we offer here are going to be this psychology 2301, sociology 1301, and if UTSA had it listed, psychology 2314. So yes, feel free to pick one of those there for that section. And of course, both of the histories count as honors, 1301 and 1302. What I'm going to next say is just for this component area option. If we look at the SAC plan, you guys have language, philosophy, and culture, and then you have an additional language, philosophy, and culture. You'll see that there are 2 90s here, and what you'll want to pay attention to is just that the 2 classes listed basically amount to 6 hours from a core 90 area. So you have, instead of 190 with 6 hours listed, you just have 2 90s. So that is equivalent to the same thing. You can take engineering 14, well, actually you can't because we don't offer either of these two classes at the Alamo colleges. So what you'll want to do is go ahead and just pick from our core 90, and what you'll be doing is following the SAC core, okay, instead of the UTSA core. That's perfectly okay. Again, as long as your core complete is what we're looking for. So you can click on that and you can see that you have a list of speech classes you could choose from. So you can go ahead and choose one of those. And then if you click on the additional language, philosophy, and culture, it gives you the same class list as the language, philosophy, and culture core 40. Here, for honors students, traditionally, if they want to graduate distinguished from the program, which is the highest level of honors you can receive, then they will take what we offer as History 2322, which is a World Civ class, or Humanities 2319, which is American Minorities. Again, you can take either one of those two classes. You'll need a 3.25 GPA, and of course, to pass the class, and you graduate distinguished from the honors program. For those of you who do transfer to UTSA, that can amount to some honors credit in their honors program there. So it's beneficial to do the class. It's a research intensive class. Generally, Dr. Lee teaches this class, and Professor Jane Folk Hansen will teach the humanities. So feel free to contact either one of them for more details about that class. And again, if you're wanting to CLEP Spanish or take some other foreign language, just be aware that the language classes start with a 2. So what does that mean? That they're sophomore level classes. So what that really means is that if you are interested in taking, let's say, German, you can click on it and realize that it has a prereq of German 1412, and German 1412 has a prereq of 1411. So most times students also opt to go for the capstone class, that history or that American minorities class, because they don't want to take four classes of language. So that is important to remember here, that if you're wanting to earn credit for this core 90, it's not going to be just one class in German or one class in Spanish. It's going to amount really to 4, because you have this additional language, philosophy, and culture along with the language, philosophy, and culture. So again, that's 4 languages to earn those 2 credits, or those 2 classes. So if that's confusing to you, please shoot me an email while you're doing this, and I'll be happy to re-explain that. So again, back to this, you're gonna perhaps plug in government 2305, and again that'd be 3 hours, and perhaps you list here philosophy 2306 is honors, and then you'll complete this until every class, at least within the core, on your transfer plan, and the classes that are listed here, please be sure and plot those out on here. And if you're unsure of whether SAC offers the class, what you'll want to do is go back to the SAC plan and scroll up until you see on the left side here course descriptions. So we'll click on course descriptions and give it a minute to think. And then, so let's type in, let's say we're not sure if Math 2321 is offered. So I'm going to go back to the course description, type in math here, enter or hit filter, and it's just going to pull up every math class that's offered, or it should. No, but that didn't work. So if that doesn't work, then go ahead and type in the exact number. So Math 2321, hit filter, and you'll see that no, we don't have Math 2321. So you wouldn't be able to take that class here. what you could do is also search for it at another Alamo college and see if another Alamo college has it. And so you'd go and click on the different colleges and see their course descriptions and search for it in there. And that would be a great way to do that. So again, please plot out all of your classes. You know, they're for on this plan, and of course factor in the 12 or 15 or however many hours you're in this current fall 2016 semester, and add those all up until you reach 60 or until you've taken as many classes within this major that are offered at the Alamo colleges that you can transfer. And that just saves you money, guys. So you know, definitely make sure that you're trying to do that. Once you're completely done, if you're doing this over multiple sittings, you can save the plan and push no's to save but do not submit for approval. Okay. Oh, all right, it says that we had a mistake, so let's scroll up. All right, and here, again, I had mentioned that's a 4-letter word. So let's go back and we're going to see that government is actually GOVT. So we'll fix that, and you'll need to fix those kinds of things. Otherwise, you won't be able to save it. So again, no, and now the plan was saved successfully. If you are, once you are done, you're going to save the plan and just push yes. Now, unfortunately, I don't get an alert that tells me so-and-so has completed the plan. So you'll want to shoot me an email to let me know that you have submitted your transfer plan or your 2-year degree plan. If you're not transferring, you would just be following the SAC plan. And that's perfectly fine. Or if you're unsure of what you're going to major in, you'll also follow the SAC plan. And you'll follow just whatever major, of course, you choose here at SAC. So again, please email me as soon as you submit that plan. I will go in, I'll double check it. Well, in the email, I also need you to specify what transfer plan you're following or what SAC plan you're following. That way I can compare those and make sure that the classes you listed line up with the plan that you designated. So if you have any questions, please email me. Again, my email is ctamez8@alamo.edu. Okay, thanks guys.